What's up, guys? How are you? And welcome back to another episode of the Nose Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, aka The Nose. Before we get started, I want to apologize. Last week's episode made it to the YouTube channel, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get it to upload to the Spotify or Apple Podcast. I honestly tried about 10 different times, but it just won't cooperate with me. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure future episodes are available on all three platforms, because I know everyone listens in different ways, and I truly appreciate every single one of you who takes the time out of your busy schedule to support the channel and the podcast. Now let's talk some NASCAR. Chicagoland, the NASCAR Cup Series made its long-awaited return to Chicagoland Speedway for the 2026 Aero 400, and it didn't disappoint. Chase Briscoe picked up his first victory of the season, driving the number 19 Bass Pro Shops Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He held off teammates Christopher Bell by just .276 of a second in an incredible finish. This was NASCAR's first Cup race back at Chicagoland since 2019, and it was a great time to see this track back on the schedule. And personally, I really hope that they return to Chicagoland instead of doing the Chicago Street Course, even though I know drivers like SVG, Connor Zellage, they probably want to keep the Chicago Street Course, but I think this was way better than the Chicago Street Course. But the race had plenty of drama early on. Ryan Preece and rookie Connor Zellage made heavy contact within the inside wall, ending both of their races almost immediately on lap one. I really feel bad for Connor this year. I mean, what he needs is lap time, and he can't do that because it just seems like he's always falling out of the race within the first 20 laps of every single race. I do think this kid is special. He just needs some lap time, and hopefully he'll get some lap time here in EchoPark Speedway this coming weekend. But even veterans like pole sitter Kyle Larson, they also had a rough afternoon. After spinning from third place into the wet grass, he suffered significant underbody damage and limped home with a disappointing 34th place finish. William Byron looked like the driver to beat early on. He swept both Stage 1 and Stage 2. But during a cycle of green flag pit stops, Chase Briscoe took the lead on lap 215 and never gave it back. With only 3 laps remaining, Chase Briscoe made a brilliant fake-out move to disrupt Christopher Bell's airflow while working through lap traffic, and that was enough to secure the victory. Joe Gibbs Racing absolutely dominated the afternoon, sweeping the podium with first place Chase Briscoe, second place Christopher Bell, and third place was the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Now let's talk about my fantasy lineup. Unfortunately, this was easily my worst week of the season. My final lineup this week was Kyle Larson, who gave me 12 points. Luckily, 9 points came from a stage. So if he didn't get any stage points, it would have been even lower than that. Denny Hamlin, he was my heavy hitter this week. He gave me 45 points. Joey Logano brought home 25 points. Brad Keselowski, he did not show up like we thought he would. He gave me 16 points, and Alex Bowman brought home 35 points. Not exactly what we were hoping for. In my matchups, I only managed to hit 2 out of the 4, finishing with 153 total points. I believe that's my lowest score for any race all season long, and because of that, I dropped from first place down to 4th place in my main league, which is a money league. So I'm trying to work my way back up there because the top 3 do get payouts in that league. The good news, I'm still well within striking distance with plenty of races left. For my 36 for 36 pick, I went with the 11 car of Denny Hamlin, and he gave me 45 points, like I said earlier, and I am now ranked 127th in the world out of 43,000. I am in a money league in that, in a 36 for 36 contest as well, and I'm still sitting in first place in that league. I think I have a 63-point lead on that. But the downside is I am officially out of Danny Hamlin selections for the regular season in lineups, and I can't use them no more for 36 for 36. That's a one and done contest. I'm hoping NASCAR Fantasy works the same way that it did last year and resets everyone's driver. Like when the playoffs started, you got to, if you were out of Danny Hamlin's, when the playoffs started, you got 5 more of him. So I'm hoping that's how it's going to work this year when the chase starts. And if that's the case, we would gladly take 5 more Danny Hamlins the way he has been running this year. We'll have to wait and see on that one. As for my betting card, it was also rough. The only bet we cashed was Alex Bowman's top 10. Out of the 8 bets, 7 of them did not hit. It's just no excuses. So if you did tail my bets last week, I apologize. I'm hoping this week I can give you some winners. But, sometimes, that's just betting. You have your highs, you have your lows. Last week, it just wasn't our week, but every great season has a bad race. And we're turning the page because I fully expect us to bounce back this weekend. We got the Quaker State 400 at EchoPark Speedway this weekend. The Cup Series heads to EchoPark Speedway, formerly known as the Atlanta Motor Speedway, for the Quaker State 400. This is one of the toughest races of the entire season to handicap because it's essentially becoming a super speedway style drafting race. It's a drafting track, but it's also 1.5 miles, so it's an intermediate. Anyone can be leading with 2 laps to go and end up getting shuffled to 20th place before the checkered flag. According to the sports books, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and hometown favorite Chase Elliott all enter the weekend as plus 900 co-favorites. Denny Hamlin continues to lead the point standings and is having one of the best seasons of his career, but historically, these drafting races haven't always been kind to him. The NASCAR In-Season Challenge is also down to their Elite 8, with drivers trying to survive one more round and move one step closer to their $1 million prize. It is unpredictable, it's chaotic, but that's exactly what makes Atlanta, now EchoPark Speedway, so much fun. So let's get into this week's picks, my fantasy lineup. My first driver will be the hometown hero, the number 9, Chase Elliott, the defending race winner at EchoPark Speedway, and the hometown favorite. Elliott has been one of the most consistent drivers here since they've redone the track, and it's hard to leave him off the roster. My next driver will be the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. Blaney has been on an incredible run, entering the weekend with 7 consecutive top 10 finishes. He's also been one of the best drivers at the new I don't know why I keep saying Atlanta, EchoPark, when they redone the track. He's really good on this track. My next driver will be the 22 car of Joey Logano. It's been a feast or famine for Joey here, but he has 2 wins, and he has led more laps than anyone at this track since they've redone it. I'm betting on the upside here. My next driver will be the number 7 car of Daniel Suarez. Suarez won here in one of the greatest finishes NASCAR has ever seen back in 2024. He's constantly near the front on drafting tracks and always seems to find himself in contention late in the race. My last driver will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Whenever we go to a drafting track, Ricky becomes a serious threat. He knows how to race aggressively without backing down, and he's quietly put together several strong runs here. My garage driver will be none other than my favorite driver, the 1 car, the Melon Man, Ross Chastain. Ross has 3 top 5 finishes here. He has 5 top 10s at EchoPark Speedway, including top 10 finishes in 3 of his last 4 starts here. If I need him, I feel confident plugging him into the lineup before Stage 3 starts. We move over to the matchups, and the matchups this week will be the 4 matchups that are left for the in-season challenge. The first one will be Todd Gilliland versus Alex Bowman. Gilliland has shown speed here, but Bowman has consistently been the stronger overall driver. With that being said, let's take a phrase from Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend. I'm taking Todd Gilliland here, and the Cinderella story of Alex Bowman comes to an end. The next matchup is Chase Elliott versus Chase Briscoe. It is the Battle of the Chases here. My pick here, I'm going with the hometown hero of Chase Elliott. This feels like one of the best matchups of the week. I picked Chase Elliott to win the in-season challenge when the bracket was announced, and I'm sticking with my guy. The next one will be Denny Hamlin versus Christopher Bell. This is an easy one for me. Denny Hamlin, yes, he can be good at drafting tracks. Like I said, you could be in first and go to 20th and so forth. You could be in 20th and go to first place. But with that being said, Christopher Bell continues to impress us despite racing through injury, and he's already proven that he can win here. I'll take Christopher Bell. I do think it'll be a close one, but I think Christopher Bell will pull this one out. The last matchup will be Ryan Blaney versus William Byron. My pick here is Ryan Blaney. Probably the toughest matchups on the board. Both drivers have elite numbers here, but Blaney's consistency gives him the slight edge. My 36 for 36 pick this week. Okay, some of you might agree with this, some of you might not. Okay, but if you believe in conspiracy theories, I like a good conspiracy theory story. But so go back to 2001 when we lost Dale Earnhardt. He was number 3. 3 races after his death was Atlanta Motor Speedway. And who drove for him? Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick ended up winning that race 3 races after Dale Earnhardt's death. Well, this year we have lost Kyle Busch. This is the 8th race after his death, which Kyle Busch was number 8. Who's driving his car? That's right, the number 33 car, Austin Hill. Austin Hill simply knows how to race here at EchoPark Speedway. Whether it's the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series, he's one of the best drafting racers in NASCAR. 11 of his 16 career victories have come on super speedways, and his record at this track is outstanding. I'm rolling with Austin Hill this week in my 36 for 36. Let's move over to my best bets, and I do think we are going to hit some winners this week. I got 8 bets for you here. 3 of them are the matchups. I'm going to be taking Ryan Blaney over William Byron at a minus 130. Todd Gilliland over Alex Bowman. At a plus 100. Christopher Bell over Denny Hamlin at a minus 102. For some top 10s, I got Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a top 10 at plus 140. Joey Logano, a top 10, minus 145. The Melon Man, Ross Chastain, for a top 10 at plus 135. We have to keep rolling with Zane Smith here. We've seen Zane lead races. We've seen him win stages this year. I got Zane Smith at a top 10 at plus 190. And then my last bet will be my 36 for 36 guy, Austin Hill, with the top 10 at plus 125. I'm feeling much better about this week's card than I did last week, and hopefully we can get back on track with the big winning weekend. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast and the YouTube channel with your friends. Every like, every comment, every download, and every subscription helps this channel continue to grow, and I truly appreciate all of your support. As always, thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Nose Knows Sports Podcast. God bless, and I'll catch you next week.